$10 off floor models, but only while supplies last and only at Mattress Firm.
Good morning, America. Terror in Paris. New video of that deadly attack in one of the most popular tourist spots in the world. A gunman opened fire on police officers before they took him down. Inside those moments of chaos, the hunt right now for accomplices, President Trump speaks out.
We have to be strong and we have to be vigilant.
And ISIS claiming responsibility for the attack.
ABC News exclusive. That Tennessee teen who was kidnapped by her former teacher finally found safe in this California cabin, thousands of miles from home. Now the teacher behind bars, her family speaking out here for the first time. And the person whose tip led to their discovery also joining us only on GMA.
Incredible rescue. A father tries to save his baby, dropping him from a burning home into a fireman's arms below. The firefighter speaks out about what he told the father in that heart-stopping moment.
And Princess Kate's powerful message, opening up about motherhood.
Having a child, particularly your first child, is such a sort of life-changing moment. Nothing can really prepare you for that.
Teaming up with William and Harry as they speak about their own mother, Princess Diana. The new interview out just moments ago.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
Good morning, America. Happy Friday. Boy, the Royals are really on a campaign to help people cope with grief and loss and so many mental issues. It's really something to see.
It really is. William and Harry and Princess Kate sharing a very candid conversation about all of that mental health, George. And we're going to wait to hear what they had to say about the brothers, what she had to say about the brothers and their mom. Very, very open, candid conversation.
And I do love this movement, the hashtag OK to Say. It's about the power of conversation when it comes to healing and dealing with mental health issues. So we're going to have a lot more on that coming up.
They are living it, but we're going to start out with the latest on that deadly attack in Paris, where a gunman opened fire on the Champs-Elysees, one of the most popular tourist spots in the world. One police officer killed, 2 officers wounded before the gunman was taken down. ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack, and we're now learning new details about the shooter. ABC's Alex Marquardt is on the scene in Paris. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, George. That's right. As you can see here behind me, the Champs-Elysees is back open. The tourists are out and about. There is a significant security presence. We are learning more about that suspect. French authorities saying he was a 39-year-old Frenchman, but they're not revealing too much more about his identity. We do know that he had spent years in prison for trying to kill police officers before, but there are no signs yet that he had been radicalized. New video this morning capturing the harrowing first moments as gunshots ring out on the French capital's famous Champs-Elysees. You have to stay back, please. Heavily armed police quickly responding to shots fired. This video showing people taking cover under cafe tables, a baby crying in the background. It was just after 9 p.m., steps from the Arc de Triomphe, when a gunman pulled up alongside a police vehicle, getting out and opening fire with what's being called a military-style weapon. The attacker killing 1 police officer and wounding 2 others, as well as a bystander. They returned fire. They killed the attacker, this witness said. He fell on the floor. The iconic avenue sealed off. Investigators combed through the attacker's car, finding a shotgun and knives. Police say the suspect, confirmed dead, is a 39-year-old man from an eastern suburb of Paris. He reportedly spent years in prison for attempting to kill 2 police officers and was released in 2015. He was detained again in February because of fears he would try to attack the police again, but there wasn't enough evidence to hold him, and no sign of radicalization. 2 hours after the attack, uncommonly quickly, ISIS claimed responsibility, but saying the attacker was a Belgian, not French. The Paris prosecutor telling reporters they do know the attacker's identity, but are withholding it until they determine whether he had accomplices. This deadly attack just 3 days before France's presidential election. The candidates in the middle of a debate as the news broke. One of the biggest issues in this high-stakes vote, stopping terrorist attacks like this one. And just a few days ago, 2 men were arrested in the southern city of Marseille for plotting an attack around this election. Weapons and an ISIS flag were found. France is already at its highest state of alert, planning for any sort of terror attack. And even before this attack, it had been announced that some extra 50,000 forces would be in the streets for this election. Amy?
All right, Alex Marquardt live in Paris. Thank you. And now to new details in that kidnapping case that sparked a nationwide manhunt. 15-year-old Elizabeth Thomas is safe this morning after authorities finally found her in a remote California cabin with the former teacher accused of kidnapping her. ABC's Kana Whitworth went to that cabin and joins us now from Wjla, California. Good morning, Kana.
Amy, good morning to you. And we all know this happened because of one local who made a 911 call. Griffin Berry says that he knew something was wrong when Elizabeth would not make eye contact with him. He says that initially he tried to help, even loan them money. But when he realized what was going on, he jumped into action.
This morning, the Tennessee teenager who sparked a nationwide manhunt after going missing with her former teacher found safe in California, nearly 2,500 miles away from her Tennessee home.
We couldn't be happier to tell you she will soon be on her way back home to Tennessee.
She's apparently healthy and unharmed.
Authorities say late Wednesday they received a tip that 50-year-old Tad Cummins and 15-year-old Elizabeth Thomas were staying in this cabin seen here in drone video, showing just how remote the area is in Northern California.
Authorities in Siskiyou County kept this car under surveillance for several hours, and as daylight broke this morning, they were able to take Tad Cummins into custody and safely recover Elizabeth without incident.
Cummins and Elizabeth had been at the Black Bear Ranch commune, but the people there knew something was wrong.
There were all kinds of indications of something a little strange going on.
So they turned them away, saying they wouldn't be a good fit.
What really should have been a clue that something was wrong is that he got so angry when that was shared with them.
Cummins and Thomas then made their way to those cabins where they stayed with Griffin Berry, a local resident on the same property. Berry says the two went by fake names, John and Joanna, and that Cummins said the teen, who stayed silent during their interactions, was 24. Berry says on Wednesday, Cummins helped him fish rocks out of a creek. Police say the pair was inside that cabin for 2 nights. What they didn't have was running water or electricity. What police say they did have was 2 handguns. Berry says once he realized who they were, he called 911. Police asking him to help capture Cummins.
So police asked you to go kind of wake the couple up?
Yeah. The element surprise would help. They didn't want the hostage situation or anything like that.
Cummins and Thomas first went missing on March 13th, more than 5 weeks ago. Authorities combing through nearly 1,500 leads from all 50 states looking for the pair. Sightings of them across the country, from Tennessee to Georgia and Oklahoma, all the way to their final destination in California. Both of them seemingly changing their appearances along the way.
He will face a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years and possibly quite longer.
Cummins, a former health sciences teacher, was recently suspended from his job for having an inappropriate relationship with a student. Now, this happened after the pair was allegedly caught kissing at school. That's something that he denies. But this morning, he's right here, behind bars, facing both state and federal charges. And Amy, authorities tell us that Elizabeth will be on her way home to her family today.
Thank you, Kana. And Griffin Berry, the person who tipped off police, and Lieutenant Bear Tharsing and Sheriff John Lope all join us now. Thank you for being with us this morning. And Griffin, tell me, at what point did you become suspicious that perhaps they weren't who they said they were?
The girl wasn't really looking at me or anything, and he was always dominating the conversation. You know, that kind of clues people in, and so then they ended up coming knocking on my door, and I had a photo of him. It was the Amber Alert, and I was like, that's definitely the guy.
Sheriff, I want to bring you into this because obviously we know Griffin called 911. Tell me what happened when you all got that call and decided to pursue these two.
The leaders of our SWAT team decided that they would form a perimeter around the cabin, and instead of trying to breach the door and potentially jeopardize the hostage, the suspect and our SWAT operators, we formed a perimeter and got into hide positions and decided to wait until the suspect exited the cabin. He was enticed to exit the cabin around 9:30 on Thursday morning, and the SRT team took him into custody without incident.
I wanted to bring in Lieutenant Tharsing because I know that you were actually there conducting the arrest of Tad. Can you give me a sense of their reaction to the arrest? Did Tad or Elizabeth say anything, do anything?
You know, he did make a couple spontaneous statements saying that he was glad that the incident had come to an end. He was relieved. He made several comments that he wasn't going to cause any altercation with law enforcement. He said he had seen the flyers and bolos, that he was armed and dangerous. He said that he was armed, but he was in no way dangerous, and wanted to make sure he advised he would cooperate with law enforcement and fully and completely. And Lieutenant, how did Elizabeth seem? What was her demeanor? Well, obviously, whenever the SWAT team shows up, that can be kind of traumatic. And she saw us. It was an intense situation, and after we placed him into protective custody, she was laughing, she was crying, she was kind of an emotional roller coaster, as you can imagine. All right, well, Sheriff John Lope, Lieutenant Bear Tharsing, and Griffin Berry, thank you all for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And the sheriff and lieutenant said if Griffin had not called 911, they would be no closer to finding those two. And thankfully, it all happened without incident, which is pretty remarkable. We will hear exclusively from Elizabeth's family just ahead later in the show.
Yeah, we're going to talk to her dad coming up. We have a lot of headlines this morning out of Washington, where the countdown is on. The president and Congress have just 1 week to come together on a funding bill, or the government will shut down. Vice President Mike Pence in Australia today on the final leg of his trip to the Asia-Pacific region, where he's delivered some tough warnings to North Korea. That regime is firing back. And House Republicans taking another crack at health care, trying to strike a new deal before President Trump hits his 100 days in office next Saturday. White House pushing hard behind the scenes. So let's get the latest from our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hey, George, good morning to you. The White House and the president hope to be able to tick off a long list of accomplishments when he hits that 100-day mark. So far, health care reform is not on that list, but this White House is hoping to change that. The Italian prime minister by his side, President Trump in the White House trying to sound optimistic about his promise to overturn Obamacare.
We're doing very well in health care. We'll see what happens. But this is a great bill. There's a great plan, and this will be great health care. It's evolving.
Behind the scenes, aides working feverishly to resurrect a signature campaign promise that went down in flames after Republicans failed to reach an agreement.
It was a very, very tight margin. We had no Democrat support.
The president's team hoping to lock in a new plan by the time he hits his first 100 days in office next Saturday. And there is a major obstacle in their way. A looming government shutdown if Congress doesn't pass a funding bill by next Friday. Asked which is more important, overturning Obamacare or keeping the government open?
I want to get both. Are you shocked to hear that?
Sources say the new plan would keep some popular parts of Obamacare, like coverage for pre-existing conditions. But individual states could ask to opt out of some of those key mandates to help keep down the cost of insurance. And Congress is still out on its recess, so the real test comes next week when they return. But right now, there is no indication that the Republicans who opposed the health care reform bill on the last one are now ready for a new deal on this new one. And Democrats right now, George, already saying no way. Nancy Pelosi calls this plan worse than the last one.
Yeah, they say it's not going anywhere. Meantime, on this government funding, talks behind the scenes have been going pretty well on Capitol Hill to keep the government open for some time. But a new stumbling block is emerging right now, this White House demand for funding for the border wall.
Yeah, the clock is ticking right now on this deadline for this government shutdown. The White House really is drawing a hard line on this one. They say Democrats have to help fund this border wall. This is a priority for the president. This is a sticking point for them. But look, George, Democrats are holding the line. They say the White House is moving in with a heavy hand right now.
And the government's not going to stay open if some Democrats at least don't vote for it. Cecilia Vega, thanks very much.
All right, and now to that war of words with North Korea. The rogue nation warning of a, quote, super mighty preemptive strike they say would reduce forces in South Korea and the U.S. to ashes. China now putting some of its bombers on heightened alert, and our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, has all of those latest developments. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Amy. That's quite a threat from the North Koreans to reduce U.S. forces to ashes. But just a short while ago, Defense Secretary James Mattis dismissed the threat as the kind of thing the North Koreans have been saying for decades. But there is no question the U.S. is on heightened alert. The biggest concern right now are indications the North Koreans are preparing to conduct a nuclear test. That would be the first nuclear test by North Korea since Donald Trump became president, and a significant escalation of this crisis.
Yeah, and John, we know the White House is moving that aircraft carrier into the region, and President Trump touting military deterrence to North Korea. But is there any sign of a diplomatic solution?
The big diplomatic push is with China. This administration trying to get China to put more pressure on North Korea. And yesterday, the president said there are indications that China is stepping up.
I can say that all of the pundits out there are saying they never have seen China work like they're working right now. Some very unusual moves have been made over the last 2 or 3 hours.
So what was he talking about with those new moves over the last 2 or 3 hours? I asked the senior staff here at the White House. We asked the Pentagon. We asked the State Department. Nobody could or would tell us. But it could be that heightened alert status that those Chinese bombers were put on, possibly, Amy.
All right, John Carl, thank you, George.
Okay, let's talk about this more now with our chief political analyst, Matthew Dowd, who's here. Let's talk about this 100 days right now. The White House seems very conflicted on how to talk about it. On the one hand, the president one day says no one's accomplished more in the first 100 days, no other president than I have. This morning, he's out with a new tweet where he says no matter how much I accomplished during this ridiculous standard of the first 100 days, and it has been a lot, including the Supreme Court, media will kill. So they're braced for all this right now. How should we think about it?
Well, first of all, it's a standard he has been talking about, right, for ever since the election day, what all the things he was going to do in the first 100 days. I would say so far it's very mixed. Now, let's keep in mind, he has all the levers of powers in Washington. He has the presidency, he has the Senate, he has the House, he now has the Supreme Court in that. You would think having all these home games, basically, he's going to have a series of wins. So I think it's been underwhelming. And if you look at the public's response to the first 92 days, 2/3 of the country thinks we're off on the wrong track, and a majority of the country still disapproves of him. So I think he still has much more to prove.
Number one thing he has to do?
I think he has to pass a bill at some point where where you see that he's brought Congress together and he demonstrates it. All the things that he said so far, the public has not yet seen it affecting their lives.
Matt Dowd, thanks very much. All the latest in politics Sunday morning on This Week. We're going to release a brand new poll on the president's first 100 days. Michael?
All right, George. And now the new fallout at Fox News over reports that former host Bill O'Reilly will receive millions of dollars in severance pay despite those sexual harassment allegations which he has denied. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis has new details.
You are about to enter the no spin zone.
This morning, Bill O'Reilly reportedly $25 million richer.
Often around this time of year, I grabbed some vacation.
Last seen on Fox News 11 days ago, now leaving the network with a massive golden parachute.
Bill O'Reilly must go!
Following protests and an advertiser revolt.
Again, thanks for watching us tonight. I am Bill O'Reilly.
The company's top executives deciding O'Reilly had to go as more accusers came forward.
I'm just sitting there minding my business, and he walks past and says, "Hey, hot chocolate."
Perkita Burgess, who worked as a temp at Fox, sharing her story publicly for the first time on The View Thursday.
I was mortified.
O'Reilly's attorney telling ABC News they are not commenting at this time on Perkita Burgess's claims. Fox has paid out more than $85 million related to sexual harassment allegations, most of which has gone to the men accused of doing the harassing, causing outrage. O'Reilly now leaving the company with what will be its second biggest payout after former CEO Roger Ailes left with $40 million in July. Both men deny the allegations.
And Lisa Bloom, a lawyer who represents two of the women who have brought sexual harassment allegations against O'Reilly, tells ABC News Bill O'Reilly is living proof that money cannot buy human decency. Michael?
All right, thank you, Rebecca. And now let's go to Rob Marciano with severe weather and flash flooding from the plains to the Midwest, Rob.
Hi, Michael. Good morning, guys. We're kind of in this every other day rain or storm scenario. They got it in Brooklyn, Ohio yesterday, outside of Cleveland. 2 inches falling in just over an hour, so that'll bring some flooding. Some severe weather today from Oklahoma City down through Dallas. It is Friday, so it's time for your weekend getaway, brought to you by Walmart.
What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on? Oh, baby,
showers move across the D.C. area this morning, so make sure you take the umbrella to work with you, especially along Interstate 70 right now. This afternoon, some severe thunderstorms are possible. D.C. Metro included in the marginal risk for today. Two of the main impacts would be damaging winds and also hail. So a heads up between the hours of about 3 to 7 o'clock. Also, it's another warm and humid afternoon. Those days